Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm the Gnarly Gnome, and it's Oktoberfest season, and I freaking love it. It makes me so happy. I'm all about it. I've been running around town gathering Oktoberfest beers. I think I have, at this point, 16, 18, something like that, stashed away in the fridge, ready to go, and we're queuing up all of the showdowns, trying to make it make the most sense. This is the first year that I've done any kind of seeding process for this competition. If you're new to this thing, I guess we should start there. If you're new to this, if you're just stumbling upon the Weekly Pint, it's a happy hour. It's kind of a podcast. Oh, that's okay. That's it's frozen for me too on my screen right in front of me. Hang on, let's see if we can figure this out. Still pretty frozen. I mean, it's a good shot at least. Okay, you can hear it though, right? As I talk to you. All right, let me see. I'm going to shut the camera off. Let's see what that does. We'll just do this and this. Okay. It's a pretty good shot at least. Okay, camera. Let's change that to that, and then let's change it back and see what happens. Okay, nothing. Awesome. We were doing so good too. All right, we're gonna unplug that. So if you're new to this whole thing, as I try to fix this, as I'm talking to you, the Weekly Pint is it's a podcast. It's a live podcast, so things like this happen, and they happen way more often than they probably should. Oh Lord, it was all working just a second ago. Let's see if. Here. Let's try this one. Nope, that doesn't work. Okay. This should work. That gives you something right there at least. So I am here. I'm just trying to figure it out. Okay. If you're new to the Weekly Pint, it is a live podcast where we hang out together. It's a happy hour. It's an excuse for us to hang out and drink together and experience the joys that are craft beer and the joys that are technical difficulties. Yeah, all right. There's that. All right, we restarted that. Now let's... Oh, hey! You can see me, right? That works? Good Lord. The point is for us to just hang out together. We roll through all of the technical difficulties, all of the things that go wrong, because there is always something that goes wrong. It wouldn't be the Weekly Pint if there wasn't. But you're also, if you're new to this, you're coming into this in the middle of Oktoberfest season, which is my all-time favorite time of year. I love drinking Oktoberfest beer, and I drink a lot of Oktoberfest beer. In fact, I do a bracket, a huge kind of March Madness style bracket where I take every packaged Oktoberfest beer in Cincinnati, this is going to need explanation this year, but every packaged Oktoberfest beer in the city, and I put them head-to-head in some kind of, it's slightly random, slightly not random as far as the first round goes to try to get high-seeded and low-seeded things in there. Zach says, let's talk pumpkin ales. We can. There is a semblance of order to it all this year, but it is still pretty random. It's more based on at least the first round of whose beers are out right now and whose beers aren't out right now. That is the hardest thing that I have, is that there's like two waves of Oktoberfest beer. There's the early guys, which are all kind of the bigger breweries. And then you have the second wave, which is the not necessarily small breweries, but the smaller breweries, and they come out a little bit later. And all of those have to be in the first round. So I'm trying to get as many matchups in the first round done as quickly as possible, because I start to get very stressed very quickly that I'm not going to get it all done in time. I don't know exactly how many beers they're going to be in the competition any given year. I try as best I can to figure out who's going to release their Oktoberfest in packaging, but there's too many breweries at this point to talk to everybody, and some people just don't talk back, and it's very confusing. So it's a little chaotic in the first round, but I think I'm, knock on wood, I think I'm better organized this year than I have been any other year. I'm hoping that we could have a perfect number of breweries this year. There's two perfect numbers. If you have 40 Oktoberfest beers or if you have 32 Oktoberfest beers, it works out perfect that you can then get down to the final number with things being kind of normal. Brad says, get some rockin'. I've got some. It's in the fridge. I've got, if it's been released right now, there's only a couple that I have not picked up yet. The ones that I have not stashed away in the fridge so far, I'll tell you guys this, except my phone is running real slow. Let's pull it up over here. The ones that I do not have yet. Whoops. I don't want that. Ooh, that's a fun note, though, that just popped up about another topic that we probably should talk about this week. Let's see. Oktoberfest Quest. The ones that I do not have in my fridge as of yet. No, I didn't write that down. I can tell you which ones I do have. So in my fridge, and some of these have already competed. I have Sonder, which went against Listerman first round. So Sonder and Listerman. Listerman already got knocked out. We had Alexandria and Taft's. Taft's got knocked out because Taft's was a hazy mess. If anybody is listening right now that it works at Taft's, that beer is not a German lager. Third Eye Märzen versus Grainworks Oktoberfest. Also, maybe I got a weird can on this one from Third Eye at a weird stage in the packaging, but the can that got stuffed into the competition was also a hazy mess of a German lager. Not a German lager. It tasted fine, but it was not. It lost. It got beat by Grainworks because it was hazy. And if your Oktoberfest is hazy, it's not going to win. I do have other Third Eye Märzens ready to go, and obviously the Fest beer from Third Eye too that still has to compete. There might be a chance for a loser to come back into it. I don't know yet though. But yeah, Third Eye got knocked out their Märzen. They have two this year. I have Mad Tree in the fridge. I have Third Eye's Fest beer in the fridge. I have West Side's Märzen and their Fest beer in the fridge. We have Franz from Rheingeist in the fridge. We've got Brinktoberfest. We have 50 West Wienermobile. We have High Grain Meadow. And we've got Fretboard Rockin' the Rhine. All of those are hanging out in the fridge, just ready to compete. All of those are also what I would consider higher seeds in the competition. I need some of the other beers to come in so that we can keep things kind of some semblance of fair. What you will notice with those beers this year, or I hope that you will notice, is that there are not any of those invasive species, as I call them. None of the tap rooms in town. I don't know if they're going to make it this year. So I told you just a minute ago that there are two perfect numbers for Oktoberfest Quest, and if we can hit one of those two numbers, things work out perfect. You don't have to you don't have to do losers brackets or things like that. It just works. And those numbers are 40, which would give us a top 5, or 32 beers would give us a top 4. And then that goes into the finals, nice and easy and clean and very, very simple. I would like that. As of right now, if my guess of who is going to release their Oktoberfest and who isn't and how it's all going to work out, if that is correct, if I leave all of the invasive species out of it, the High Wires and the West Sixth and the Voodoos and the BJs and all of those. If I leave those out, it would give us 30 beers, which would leave us 2 beers that would need to compete to kind of jump into things. That's what I want to happen. I would love to have 30 local Oktoberfests and then this fun little mystery bracket, which we're going to talk about, that can be kind of the wild card thrown into it. If this is where the big asterisks come in. I have the mystery bracket sitting right here. That's what I'm going to drink tonight, is these 2 Oktoberfests that are going to compete. One of them will win. Maybe it's going to be in the bracket. Maybe, I don't know, it'll be in the bracket no matter what. I think there might be other things that come into the bracket, but this will be in the bracket no matter what. But here's how I chose this. I still went with invasive tap rooms, but I picked out of last year all of the outsiders that made it to the bracket. I picked the 2 that were the best, and that was my opinion of the 2 taproom beers that I thought tasted better than the other ones. So you know right off the bat, BJ's was just kicked right out of it because their Oktoberfest was terrible, and it was a disgrace to Cincinnati Oktoberfest, and it should have never been part of the bracket to start with. Shame on you, BJ's, for putting that beer in packaging and calling it an Oktoberfest beer and selling it here in Cincinnati. You should be ashamed of yourself. That one's not obviously in it. The 2 that I thought were good. The first one should be obvious because it made it pretty far in the competition, although it had to get voted back in by me because it was eliminated the first round. It's a really, really good beer. This is a gold medal, GABF, award-winning beer. A 2016 GABF award-winning Märzen category. This is Zirkusfest from Highwire. It was a great beer last year. I anticipate it's probably a great beer this year. It deserves to be in this competition. I know they don't make any beer here in town, but they have a tap room, and it evens it out to an exact 32 if we leave these 2 beers in. The other one, these guys, they kind of have a tap room in town. They're about to have a much bigger tap room in town, in Covington. West 6th, they're getting ready to open up a new tap room in Covington, just around the corner from Braxton. This is the Donkerchain. It is, doesn't tell me if it's a fest beer or a Märzen. I remember it being a little festy, but my memory could be wrong. It says it's inspired by our fish growing neighbors food chain. Fish growing neighbors and then a beer. Those things don't sound good together, but I remember it being a good beer. So that's what we're going to do tonight. These 2 are going to compete, and one of these will make it into this year's bracket, or they're already in the bracket. One of them will continue, and will compete. Probably at this point, whoever wins this one will go against probably Sonder if we're going with the seeding method that I've somehow figured out in my head, which is not going to remain accurate as we keep going. It's going to get very confusing because we'll figure out some kind of scoring method that we can, as we start getting more of these competitions through. Which we've got a few. This is what, 1, 2, 3, 4, this is the 6th year that I've done this. So we're starting to get some kind of historical record of how these beers have fared. Except not all of them have been in all of the competitions. It's very confusing. I'm going to drink. All right. In the Sam Adams Stein, we'll go Highwire in this one. And we're going to pour them, and then we'll talk about them. And I swear, if one of these is a hazy Oktoberfest, I'm going to lose my mind. Because out of the 3 head-to-head competitions that I've done this year, 2 of them have had hazy Oktoberfests. There is no excuse for that. Just don't release one, or call it something else. Call it a German, just call it German fall lager or something. I don't care. Just don't call it an Oktoberfest. I think we're good. Neither one of these look hazy to me. All right, good. All right. So in the Sonder and Friends Stein, this is Donka Chain from West 6th. And in the Sam Adams Stein, this is High Wire, with a little more full because they put them in 16-ounce cans. We need to normalize the 6-packs of 16-ounce cans, especially with Oktoberfest beers. I'm going to put that out into the universe. Donka Chain, really doesn't tell me anything about the beer. It doesn't even tell me ABV anywhere on here, which is fine. I don't need to know, but I would be curious. West or Highwire says Zirkusfest Oktoberfest. It's a lager beer. It's malty and crisp. They give me all kinds of information. 6% ABV, and they give you those little charts to show you where everything hits. The hops sits very low down to the left side. The malt side is pretty close in the center, which is funny. And then the color leans just a hair to the light side. Hops are Hallertau Tradition. Okay. 25 IBUs. Nobody cares about IBUs. Unfiltered. I appreciate that we can normalize that an unfiltered beer can still look like this. It's clear because it's a lager. All of that should still drop out. Can we normalize that and explain that to people and get rid of this whole hazy Oktoberfest thing? It's got to stop, guys. Has to stop. Their description, as I started reading before, gold medal winner at the 2016 Great American Beer Festival in the German-style Märzen category. Use of Munich malt in this full-flavored beer provides upfront biscuity and honey flavors, then fade into a light, dry finish. That description says exactly what an Oktoberfest beer should sound like, should taste like. They don't always, though. Let's see. Brewed and canned in Asheville. Good beer, good times. All right, sounds fun. This one also, it tells me, 6%. I already said that. Okay, we're gonna dive into these. Just as a reminder, you can see it on the screen, but the drunk line is open. You can call in and give me your opinions about Oktoberfest if you want to. I'm gonna do something here because I'm realizing that I messed something up. I think. Okay. Sorry. Ignore me. Just behind the scenes chaos. All right. Let's get into this high wire first. Prost, everybody. I'm curious if anybody has been drinking Oktoberfest beers so far this season, like I have. Tell me what you've been drinking, what you've liked, what you haven't liked. Tell me. All right. Appearance. They both are pretty similar. The West 6th might be a hair darker, and obviously just looking at them, the head on the high wire has stuck around a little bit longer. It gives you a couple extra points, but it's not a make or break for the style for me. If it's hazy, it is. Okay, a little bit more hop character to the West 6th, but not over the top. Nothing that would throw me off. Both of them have that great malty, bready kind of aroma. A little bit of fruit. Brad says he's only had Rock and the Rhine, but is starting to venture out to other brands. There is definitely something that is so much fun about Cincinnati at Oktoberfest time, because we do have so many Oktoberfests, and people aren't afraid now to just play with that spectrum. There is everything under the sun as far as the deepest, darkest, breadiest Märzens to the hoppiest, lightest fest beers that you can think of, and everything in between those. It's like this really cool spectrum of Oktoberfest beers. When you walk in and order somebody's Oktoberfest, you kind of know what you're getting. Like you know it's going to be drinkable and it's going to be malty, and that's about all you know. I love it. Brad says, Franz has never let me down on draft. I have not tried Franz yet this year. It's in the fridge. I can't wait to try it. All right. High wire. All right. One of the things that I look for when I'm drinking an Oktoberfest and I'm determining if it's better than another one, obviously what it looks like and what it smells like is important. I need a full-bodied beer. I need some kind of some kind of heft to it, but it has to still finish pretty dry for me. I don't want it to be sweet and kind of linger too long. I need something that I can just sit and kind of keep putting away. But I need that body. This has it. I forgot how great this beer is. Oh, yeah. It's a good beer. Let's see how the West 6 is. Oh. That's great, too. There's definitely some kind of... what is that I'm getting in the middle of there? Almost like a little, not tartness, but there's some kind of like a, shit. It's definitely more floral versus earthy to the high wire. There's something I don't love about in the middle of that. Some kind of thing that hits in the... I keep wanting to call it like tartness, but it's not tartness, like a... not like a tannic thing either. Lord, I wish I could communicate that better. Almost like a syrupy kind of thing going on. Yeah, I don't love that. No, not tang. It's more. I would call it syrupy, like a I don't know, like a weird fake thickness to it, if that makes sense. Also, there is some kind of flavor to it though. That I keep wanting to call like a tang, like a thing. I'm trying to figure out what I can relate it to as far as food, and I can't think of something. Either way, I think it's pretty clear, based on how I reacted to both of them, which one I prefer. This is not even close. I mean, it's close, but not that close. High wire just runs away with this one. This beer is a great, Zach says, thick malt. No, it's not. It's not a malt thing. It's like it's something else going on. The malt should have some heaviness to it, but that should still finish kind of clean and dry. The high wire, man, it's a great beer. I get upset every time I try beers like this that they don't brew here in Cincinnati, because I think they're great. I think they make great beer. Their lager game is strong. Their sour game is strong. Their barrel-aged beers are strong. Brad says Three Floyds has that unique taste also. Wonder if that's it. Maybe. I don't love it, whatever that thing is. And it does not belong, in my opinion, in an Oktoberfest beer, if you want to really break it down. Now, the thing about all of these beers that lose, I shouldn't say all of them. There has been some bad ones, but most of these beers, when they lose, they're still beers that, like, if you threw me into an Oktoberfest and started pouring me steins of this all night long, I'd be fine with it. after the first couple sips, I would adjust to it, and I wouldn't even notice whatever that thing is in the middle. It's just because I'm putting it up against something else, and I'm really kind of picking at it. It's still a fine beer, and there's nothing wrong with it. I've got 5 more after this one that I'm drinking tonight, and I will drink them all. Brad says melanoid malt, I believe. I digress. Possibly. I assume that there are probably some other breweries in town that are using some of those malts that I think they still taste right. Zach says this was Saunders, right? The one you're not liking. No, this was West 6th. West 6th is today's loser. We shouldn't call it a loser. Why am I not focusing on anything? I've got everything all messed up on the settings. It's fine. You don't need to focus on it. West 6th is the non-winner today. And then moving on, we have Highwire. These are invasive species. This is an invasive species night. Sonder was the first beer that competed in this year's competition because they were last year's winner. They went against Listerman, which was 2020 winner. I had them sitting back there. I was going to start doing like a stack of winners and losers, but it's going to get too out of control, so I took them down. There's Can's leg on the floor somewhere down here. Anyways, Prost, congrats to Highwire for taking this one. It's a great beer. This is actually gonna beat some local beers that it probably shouldn't, because it's that good. We will cuvee these here in a minute. I do want to talk a little bit. Oh, I didn't even pull up any of my artwork. I made a little showdown little artwork there. I didn't even use it. Terrible at this whole thing. I do want to talk a little bit about some upcoming beer projects. I hope that everybody has been paying attention to their social media feeds. There was an article put out today. See if I can pull it up real quick. If I actually saved it. I'm very unprepared. No, I didn't put a link to it there. It's fine. I guess it doesn't matter. There's not a whole lot in the article that we can't just talk about. It's a Melatonin Beer Project. This is Dennis Kramer wine from Rheingeist. He was the distribution manager or something like that for years. He was really early on in their lifeline, if not from the very beginning, and then left a couple years ago, and now is starting his own project with one of the founders from Three Weavers out of, I want to say, it's West Coast. I want to say Oregon. Somebody can correct me if they know differently. Three Weavers, or somebody can Google very quickly. Probably easier than me Googling. And they've had this project in the works for several years with a home address in Pleasant Ridge, which got kind of published from some other places that we just wanted to jump on things quicker than they probably should. And now they finally have their actual location, because they've been Inglewood, California. There we go. They've been looking for a location for several years, and finally found one in a spot that I know that a lot of us have been really, really wanting a brewery to remain in, and that is the former Taft's Ale House location on Race Street downtown, a spot that I would have bet money that a brewery would not go into. I was convinced in my head that there was no way that 3CDC was going to put together a good enough deal for somebody to be able to afford that space. And maybe they can't. Maybe it'll all tear itself apart very quickly because it's too expensive and they can't get people to go down there. Maybe. I'm hoping that that's not the case, though, because obviously, hopefully everybody has been there at some point in the Taft's the Taft's story. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous building. Lots of rookwood tile, old converted church. When you walk in the main doors, and it opens up just into this huge space. Lots of communal seating with a big kind of balcony spot upstairs, and just absolutely beautiful. Downstairs is this little kind of tucked away, hidden bar almost. They're going to call that the Undertone. So Mellotone, Undertone, fine. And then down there, they're going to have a little stage for bands to play and do just like a little kind of quiet bar. Probably not quiet. Quiet's not the good word for it. A little intimate space where it feels more like a tap room versus upstairs will probably be more restaurant-y and brew pub-like. This is not at all what I thought Mellotone was going to look like. I had this vision in my head of this kind of small brew pub kind of thing. Gnome is out of focus. Yeah, settings are wrong. Everything is wrong. I can fix it. Hang on. If you guys are going to complain about it, I'll fix it. Hang on. Let me turn the mic so I can keep yelling at you while I fix it. If you're going to complain, it's fine. We just have to hit this button here, and we'll do this one. And this should fix it. Ugh. Is that better? Julia says he's not out of focus. We've just been drinking too much. That's it. It's Oktoberfest season. Everything's out of focus. Point of all this is I cannot even explain how thrilled I am to see a brewery in this building. I have extremely high hopes for what they're going to do. The beer is the easy part. Make good beer, which I say it's the easy part. I've had a lot of not great beer in the last year that should not exist, but it still does. But the harder part in my head is all the other pieces. You know, if you're opening a brew pub downtown, you now have to get people to come downtown to drink your beer. I don't know how you are going to compete on tap handles. I don't know how you're going to compete on shelves. I don't think you can. I don't think you should. So you got to get people to come downtown. So it'll be interesting if they are able to do that. Zach says Marco expects the show to be perfect. He does. Marco has very high standards for what shows should be. Go figure. So curious if anybody else has any thoughts about Mellotone. I'm really, really excited about it. It's still pretty early, although the article from what was it, WCPO or somebody wrote about it. The article quotes them as saying that they should be open October or November, which seems kind of crazy to me. It's a phone call. I'm assuming this is one of you. Hello, you're on the Weekly Pint. Who is this? Hello.
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 What's up, Gnome? How you doing?
What's up, buddy?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Hey, nothing much. Hey, I can hear you.
Excellent.
With all your technical difficulties, I figured I'd call in tonight and say hey, because it's been a while and I always get a chance to check out the show, but tonight I had some time. So since you're talking about Oktoberfest, I figured I'd crack one here for the sound effect, and I wanted to let you know about Oktoberfest. And you're going through all these Oktoberfests that you think are super awesome and great.
Sure.
And I'm going to tell you right now, one that you did not mention that I just cracked open right now this year. They finally canned it this year is Esoteric's Oktoberfest.
They canned it last year too.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
You know what? I could have swore it was only available in the Crowlers.
No.
Because the only reason I knew that is because I know John pretty well, and I thought he told me this was the first year they're doing 6-packs. I don't know. Maybe I may have been wrong. You know more information than I do.
Yeah. No. So in round one, it went up against. This is last year. It went up against Grainworks and beat them. Okay. And then round two, Esoteric went up against. Let me look here. Sam Adams, and
Gotcha.
beat Sam Adams. Round 3, Esoteric went against Madtree and lost. So it went down to the final round before the finals, so the second to last round. So it did pretty good last year. It's a great beer.
I am mistaken, but that if so far what I've had a lot of Oktoberfest, but you also know I am the basic white bitch when I say that I love the pumpkin, because everybody pokes fun at me in the group, obviously, about how much I love pumpkin ale.
There's nothing wrong with liking a pumpkin beer. Pumpkin beers are great.
I know.
I will say, and this is for me, and usually I'm right about everything. You should not be drinking pumpkin beer in August. I'm going to put it out there.
That's what everybody says. Everybody says that too. But then people have been saying that about Oktoberfest
No,
too.
those people are wrong. See, there's a difference. There are some people that say you should not be drinking pumpkin beer right now. They're right. There are some people that say you shouldn't be drinking Oktoberfest beer. They're wrong. There's a difference there. I'm an expert. I'm an expert. I know these things. I make the rules.
As much as you know what, I'm not going to disagree with you, but I'm going to say that
you can disagree, but you would be wrong.
Okay. Oh, okay. There's that perfection that Marco has. You have to. That's something Marco would probably say. You're wrong. You're just wrong. But
with all of this being said, I have drank pumpkin beer already this year. I am going against my rules, but you shouldn't. It tastes better in October.
You know what? As you should. Now, that being said, besides the Oktoberfest, first, before I get super sidetracked, the other one I really enjoyed was I don't know if it's new, that Marzen that Third Eye released this year.
That is new.
That Marzen was, to be honest, to me, I really loved that Marzen.
That's fine.
I tried it not too long ago.
So I drank it at Lagerfest down at Northern Row, and I loved it.
Okay.
But the can that I cracked open for this year's competition was hazy, and there are very strict rules for what an Oktoberfest beer should look like, and it did not match them. So we'll see.
I probably would agree with that one. And the two other and the probably three other ones. I mean, this is just thinking Oktoberfest from previous years. I've already had Oktoberfest by Sam Adams, which is also
always a great
favorites.
one.
I would say, what other Oktoberfest did I have? There was one I'm missing somewhere. Oh yeah, of course, Rheingeist Franz. It's always a classic for me every year. I know you said you have one in the fridge and you haven't tried it yet, but I don't know. This year's kind of, I don't know. I feel like it kind of tastes a little different this year, being good, like better than a couple other years before.
Last year, I remember being way better than I anticipated it being. I do.
And it's so weird how people change recipes too. I feel like the recipes sometimes they'll either get really bad or they'll get really worse. And in this case, I feel like a lot of these have gotten better.
I don't know. I don't know if it's a recipe change or if it's just better process. There's a lot of different.
Maybe it's another brewer.
No, I doubt it's a brewer thing. It's probably just. I assume it's process is my guess. Who beat them last year?
And
I'm looking right now.
Who Franz beat somebody?
Round 2 they went up against Sonder, and Sonder beat them.
Sonder I had this year. That's the one I love Sonder for a lot that they do. That's one that's why I asked you about Sonder. I had it the other day when I went there to try their kitchen, by the way, for the first time. I met my dad and my sister up there at the kitchen that they had, which, by the way, the cheese curds do not disappoint.
Was this
try those.
Was this in Mason or in Westchester?
It was the Westchester one.
Okay.
And so I had it there, and I think it was just okay. It wasn't like,
okay. I mean, we'll see. We'll see how far it goes this year. A lot of that depends who. What's so hard about this competition is there are some great Oktoberfests, and there are a whole bunch of good Oktoberfests, and there's only a couple bad Oktoberfests, and so it's very likely that sometimes a good Oktoberfest could go a lot further in the competition, but they get paired up in a random round against somebody that has a great Oktoberfest, and so that could happen with some of these. Full disclosure, I did not pay for the Sonder Oktoberfest that I have in my fridge. I have to mention that. And Sonder is hosting the finals this year since they won last year. But with that being said,
okay, gotcha.
there is no guarantee that they will be in the finals. There is a chance that they could get beat before they get there, and we could show up to Sonder to do the finals and their beer not even be in it. And they know that, and they're aware of that, and they're prepared for that. We'll see. I do think so.
Cry.
When I tried Sonder Oktoberfest for the first time this year, it was a little bit hoppier than what I want an Oktoberfest to be.
That's what I was thinking.
They went up against Listerman in the first round and just squeaked past Listerman barely. With that being said, I think that beer is only going to keep getting better as time goes on. Depending on how long it takes me to roll through this first round, it can only work in their advantage to kind of let some of those hops kind of fade out a little bit. So we'll see.
I was going to say the number one in my mind still every year that I always search for is, I'm going to straight up say Westside. I had one of theirs again this year. Something about it tastes like almost like a pretzel mixed in with malt. It's just
Westside.
Like a perfect combination, man.
Well, Westside is a good one to bring up. Westside is one of my favorite Oktoberfests every year and one of my biggest disappointments in the competition every year. This is the first year that Westside is canning all of their own Oktoberfest. They have not been shy about saying that they have had some contract partners in the past to kind of keep up with demand. This is the first year that they've expanded enough that they don't need those contract partners to make their Oktoberfest. I don't know. I guess I can probably say this. I won't say who the contract partner was, but there was an episode of this show a year or maybe 2 years ago where I drank two Oktoberfest beers side by side. I did not say what they were. This was not part of the competition. I took two unmarked cans and poured them in glasses, and I said, these are supposed to be the same beer. One of these came from the brewery, and one of them is from the shelf from a contract partner. And you poured them in the glass, and they looked like two different beers. They smelled like two different beers, and they taste like two different beers. And unfortunately, the worse of the two is the one that was out in packaging, out in the world, which is how I do most of these competition beers. I go and I buy them off of a shelf somewhere. So
that's how I like to do.
Westside has gotten screwed every single year because the beer that has ended up in my fridge has been a shadow of what the beer is supposed to be. So I have high hopes at how far they'll go in this year's competition. High hopes. I hope they don't let me down. I drank, again, full disclosure, for lunch today. I'm working on another project, another thing that I can't talk about yet because it's going to take me a very long time to finish it. But I was at Westside working on this thing. And while I was working on it, I knocked back two Oktoberfests, and they were both great. I was really hoping to get the smoked Oktoberfest, and everybody drank it all already. So all of you shits on the West Side that drank the smoked Oktoberfest before I could get my hands on it, I hate you.
I didn't even know there was a smoked West Side beer. Now I'm intrigued, but now it's gone.
God,
so
yeah. West Side smokes more beers than anybody else. They do all kinds of them.
I never had a smoked beer. You always talk about them.
Oh dear God,
I wanted to try a smoked beer.
They've got a smoked beer, smoked Pilsner that's great. Right now, they have a little bit of their smoked Geta beer that's left. They have I've heard some rumblings that there might be a smoked Dunkel coming. Probably shouldn't say that. I don't know if I was supposed to say that. That might have been in confidence, but whatever. The smoked Oktoberfest, like they've got some great smoked beers over there. If somebody wants a smoked beer, that's the first place that I would send them. Is Westside.
And I think your disclosure earlier, I'm pretty sure I remember you talking about where you got that can at, and you can straight up say it's Jungle Jim's if that's where it was at, because we all know that sometimes there's been some bad apples at Jungle Jim's from time to time, and it's okay.
No, that is actually, that's where I have gotten some of my cans. That is not where that can came from.
Okay.
We won't go into that story of where the can came from because that will probably piss some people off.
Oh no, it's okay. It's just people need to be upon their game. If they got these big craft beer enthusiasts like all of us, they need to know that we are there and we are always watching some point or always tasting, whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to wrap this up just a little bit more. One, I was going to say Listerman, I've not seeked out there, Listerman, I have not seeked out their Oktoberfest much, but I might try it.
It's
this year.
good beer.
I don't know. I'll try to find it.
It's a good beer. They have the Fest beer. It was it's a previous winner. It's good beer.
And then one I would suggest you, if you can find it, is last year Topping Goliath. I don't know if they released it for the first time last year or not. In the last 2 years, I forget what year I drank it, but Topping Goliath has a Oktoberfest. It's actually pretty good. I forget what the name of it is. So if you seek it out, find it, I would highly suggest trying that.
If I see it on tap somewhere, I would definitely try it. I'm not gonna run around trying to find it. Although I guess it is technically craft again, right? Since Tilray now owns Toppling Goliath, right? Isn't that the way it works?
I don't know who knows who anymore. Like, and I hear about all these contracts, and I always hear about how people are trying to can their own stuff and they're trying to distribute themselves. I hear how the distributors are not that great, and I've listened to your podcast along with Blake's podcast. Shout out to Blake, by the way, Brew Explorer, or should I say the Miami Valley podcast. But yeah, listening to all these, I didn't know there was like so many ins and outs of contracts when it comes to this distro and stuff. So.
And the contract brewing, like that's a tough one because you've got breweries that make incredible beer, and we mentioned Westside and some of the difficulties with that Oktoberfest.
Sure.
There are plenty of other examples that we could give around town that are places that make incredible beer, and if you go to their tap room and get X beer, it's good, and then you go and you buy cans and you try it and you're like, this doesn't taste like the same beer that I just had. Like, is it me? Am I crazy? Was it just the experience of being in the tap room that made this taste better? And then you find out later that it's because somebody else made the beer and they did a crappy job with making that beer. To me, it's a big problem with a lot of craft beer right now, is that people are contracting brands that already exist somewhere else, and you have an expectation for what that should taste like. I'm of the opinion that you should never contract a brand that you don't have control over. you should know that what is going into cans tastes exactly like what is on the tap. That's not to say you shouldn't contract beer and you can't make another brand that is a different beer and sell that to kind of make up the margins that you need for whatever. I don't know. It's very complicated, and I get that a lot of people are in a tough spot and trying to figure out a way to make it work. As far as ownership goes, you've got a lot of brands that either are currently owned by big macro brands, AB InBev or Miller Coors or Heineken or whoever. That's not craft beer. It is. People call it crafty, and I think that's bullshit. I think it's just it's fake. It's people trying to pretend and trying to trick people into buying big beer. And I don't like it. It makes me happy to see when some of those brands get sold off and get bought by somebody else, even if it is Tilray, which, although technically still classifies as craft beer, is still a large corporation. It makes me feel a little better than seeing it in the hands of Miller Coors, which is who owned Toppling Goliath before, I believe.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
Because we all know they're all about the we all know they're about the Benjamin.
Yeah, they're yeah. Well, and some craft brands are too. It's.
Oh, I know. I mean, it's good to see a good microbrewery, or even some of the bigger ones who've made it out there. I mean, even Rhinegeist is as big as it is. I'm just glad. I did finally read that book, by the way, all the way through, and it's still, I think the one with Brett and them from Urban Artifact, it might. But I will say the Rhinegeist story was really cool, and how they still to this day distribute their own beer, and the whole process, and how they kept to, hey, we're taking care of this, not somebody else. It's just, I like seeing those guys. I like seeing those guys make money, even though they're on a bigger scale now. Those are the guys I like seeing money and make the money and stuff like that. To wrap this up, because I know you have other people who are probably like, oh my God, Zach, shut up. But I would say on my pumpkin ale rant, I will tell you that I had 2 pumpkin ales. Another shout out to Rhinegeist. I had both the pumpkin pie I think is how it said. I know they've done that last couple of years. That was
pumpkin
PI.
That was
pumpkin PI. Sorry, thank you. Sorry, but that
Third
one
Eye
was
PI.
actually. Third Eye PI. It's the play on words, the P and then the IE or IYE. But anyway, that one I had last night, and I think it's better in the last couple of years that they've had it. That's another one that I'm like, oh, hey, it's got more of like a pumpkin pie taste. I don't know. It was weird to explain, but I actually like that one more this year.
I saw it on the shelf. I struggle this time of year. I don't get to buy a lot of other beers because I am spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars on Oktoberfest beer. So I don't get to, like, I'll go to the store and I'll see that sitting on the shelf. I'm like, man, I should buy that right now. I should put that in my fridge. And not only do I not have fridge space, I still have, I don't know what, 15 different Oktoberfest beers I have to buy. But I see it, and man, there are no corners left in my house right now. There's Oktoberfest beer everywhere. This
Your
chair
wife gets a bill, and
this chair that I'm sitting in is made of Oktoberfest beer. Like that's how bad it is.
Oh my God, that's funny. And then going back to, I would say, and the one I'm surprised I didn't have, I guess it was released last year, is their Gore Darn It.
I saw that one too. Yep, it's the stout.
It's stout.
I think it's a stout or a porter. Pumpkin porter, maybe.
No, it says stout. It says stout milk sweet.
Okay.
I'm looking on Untappd for my notes, but yeah, I was like, oh my God, this tastes like Warlock. That I mean, I've had Warlock again this year. I love Southern Tier's pumpkin and the Warlock, but I will say Third Eye did a really damn good job on this pumpkin stout this year. And if you find it out there, pick it up because I like it better than the Warlock.
It's a great beer.
Say that
both of their pumpkin beers are great. My mother-in-law, is a wonderful lady, but she's not a craft beer drinker. Well, I shouldn't say that. She's a light craft beer drinker. She goes for the lightest thing she can get when she sees it. But she likes to drink local. But maybe a year or two ago, we were at Birds here in Fairfield. It's a little neighborhood kind of bar and grill, and they had the pumpkin, the Third Eye, the PI on tap. Pumpkin PI. Pumpkin PI.
Is that so hard to say?
It's fun to say
it over and over.
And she absolutely loved it. And she has maybe every 3 months since then asked me, can I get that anywhere? And I'm like, nope, it's March. It's a pumpkin beer. You can't really get it right now. Sure. And I have to, try to, nope, can't get it. Nope, there's nobody I can call. We can't get it. and she just the other day she noticed all the Oktoberfest beer that was around the house when she showed up to watch the kids. She was probably judging me in some way, like, why is all this beer? Why are the kids sitting on beer right now? Why are their chairs made out of beer? And I was explaining it, and she said, "Oh, that's that brewery that makes that beer I like." And I said, "Yes, it is, and you can get it right now." Yes, you can go get it. So hopefully she gets some.
You know
if
what?
Not, I might have to buy her some.
To get on her good side, you need to buy like a whole bunch of 6-packs of it for Christmas, and then like gift it to her, and then she'll be like, "Oh my God, thank you."
Just space it out throughout the year. I should go right now, and I should buy a couple cases.
Actually, you should.
And then every couple months, I should gift it to her. Zach, that's the best idea you've ever had.
Hey, you know what? I have a mother-in-law too, Noam, and my mother-in-law, I mean, actually, I don't really need to please her. She actually pleases us all the time. She's the one that gave me a bottle of the Utopias that she had a client that she works through taxes basically, and he worked for Sam Adams, doesn't drink, and I don't know how she obtained it, but she's like, "Hey, I know you wanted to try Utopias. Here's a bottle." So my mother-in-law knows what I like when it comes to craft and all that stuff. And then one last thing I was going to say, I'm going to end it. I promise. I keep on saying one last thing is how you pronounce it? Is it Shuffly or
Schlafly?
I can never pronounce Schlafly. Okay, so Schlafly.
Schlaf.
I've had.
You got to get that Schlaf.
Schlaf.
Yeah.
Like a slap it in the face. Slap it on the, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was trying to come up with one of those weird, like, Marco jokes where it's like, it's a D. I don't know, something like that. But shout out to Marco. I was going to say their pumpkin beer is on point this year, too. Like, I've had it in the last couple of years. And
that's always a good one, yeah.
Ones I had this year, it's really good. and I get the real pumpkin out of it. And of course, I can't wait till Dan out of Swine City releases his pumpkin stuff, which
he's
it's
got some
only a
good ones
matter
too.
of time.
He's always got a couple of them
anyway,
that he does, and a couple variants.
Oh yeah, I'm excited about Dan's Swine City pumpkin. I'm waiting for that notification. I'm sure it's going to be popping up anytime soon.
It should be pretty
when
soon.
He gets his pumpkin stuff rolling. So, but anyway, I'll end it off. But no, it was great having a conversation with you. I'm sorry for all your listeners who are probably bored at this point in time, but it's always fun to talk to you. And maybe you and I could come together. How you do this Oktoberfest thing? Maybe you and I one of these years, or I don't know when you have time. Maybe I should do a pumpkin rating of all the pumpkins I think, and do like a little. You're doing with Oktoberfest.
I think that would be great. You should definitely do that, and I would definitely jump on for a couple of those showdowns with you.
I would totally do. We need to come up with something and stuff. My kid's only getting older, so it's a lot easier to do a lot more things and get out and about. So
sure.
But all right, man.
All right.
Well, it was, like I said, it was great having a conversation with you tonight, and I'll let you get back to your show, and I'll watch, and you guys all have a great night.
All right. Well, cheers.
All right. Cheers, brother.
So one of the questions that popped up while I was talking to Zach is, am I going to post a list of all of the Oktoberfest events going on in the area? That is one of the things that I am falling short on this year. I don't know if I'm going to put it up because they're already happening, and I have not even started to compile all of that. So I don't think so. I don't think it's going to happen. However, if you go to, you can search around on the website and find last year's list of events. It's the same events, just different dates. So if you just kind of search some of those events, you'll find the dates. I will say that the ones that you need to know, in my opinion, would be this coming weekend. You've got Germania, Germania, however you want to pronounce it, Germania. Their Oktoberfest happens Friday, Saturday, Sunday this coming weekend. You need to be there. Then we have Oktoberfest Cincinnati. That happens in like a month or so. I don't know the dates off the top of my head. You need to pay attention to that one because of the new location this year. It's going to be a great event. And then the last one that you need to go to is Donauschwaben. Their Oktoberfest is great. In between all of that, there are plenty of other great Oktoberfest festivals happening around town, and they're all fun. But those are the three big ones that, in my opinion, if you're an Oktoberfest fan, you need to be at. And out of those three, only Cincinnati is probably, well, no, I shouldn't say that. There will be some local beers at all of them, but Cincinnati will have a good little selection for you. Oh, here we go. Julia says, listen to Cincy Beer Events Pod for all the Oktoberfests that they can find. It's there's a lot of good ones. I've been good other years about kind of compiling. It's tough, especially this year with trying to kick off this Cincy Beer Week stuff. It's a lot. There's a lot of stuff going on, and then the whole work side of life, and then family stuff too. Sailor Park's Oktoberfest is this weekend. I have plenty of West Side Oktoberfest, Dunkelfest, Beard, and Helles. I can get behind that. Zach says, are you going to be at Oktoberfest Cincinnati? That's the plan. I don't know for sure. Nothing is ever for sure until the last minute. I know that I will be at Germania this weekend, probably on Saturday for anybody that's there. Zach says, if so, when? I don't know. Last year, the only day that I made it, I think was during the day. Was it? I don't even remember. It was during the day, one of the days. Was it Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday? Is that right? And I think I was there Thursday. I don't know. It'll probably be during the day, whatever it is. Oh man, there really are so many good ones. All right, let's cuvee these beers before I drink them all. I need to drink a little bit more of this one to get them even. All right. For anybody that doesn't understand why I do this, I don't know why. Maybe you can answer it for me. I think it's fun as we do the competition. Like each one of these Oktoberfest is great for their own reason. So every time that I have to compete after they get done competing, I combine them together into one kind of Voltron of Oktoberfest. And sometimes it makes it way better than the two by themselves. Sometimes it makes it way worse, but it's always fun to kind of see. Luckily, both of these were good, clear, good-looking Oktoberfest. And it smells great. Yeah, I would argue that might be better than either one of them by themselves. That's a good Oktoberfest. For anybody that missed last year, at the end of the season, way later than I should have, it was probably November by the time I actually got to do it. I built the perfect Cincinnati Oktoberfest beer. And what that means is I took every Cincinnati Oktoberfest beer. I always hang on to one can. I stash them away. I don't know if I'm going to do it in this fridge here or in the garage. I'm going to find a spot where I stash them in a fridge. And I will keep one can of every single one of them. And then at the very end, I dump them all together into one giant Oktoberfest beer. And hopefully it makes it taste better than than each part. If not, it's still fun. Hopefully, knock on wood, hopefully this year, I'll have my shit together enough that we'll throw a party. I say we. I will throw a party here, and I will invite a small group of people that I trust not to be creepy in my house, because this is my house. My kids live here, and so if you're at all like creepy and I don't like you, there's no way you're getting invited to this party. But I will invite a small group of people over to help me drink all of this Oktoberfest beer, and we'll drink the ultimate Oktoberfest beer in addition to hopefully drinking everything else that is left over, because there's always leftovers. It's very hard. The other day, on Sunday, it was Saturday, because it was during the Bengals. The game was coming on, and it was getting ready to start. And I said, "Honey, I'm going to go downstairs. I'm going to grab a beer. Do you want me to grab you a beer?" And she said, "Oh yeah. What are you going to drink?" And I said, "Well, I'm going to get a couple Oktoberfests, because it's that time of year. I need to drink some Oktoberfest beer." And she said, "Oh, I'll drink an Oktoberfest beer." And I said, "Ooh, actually, you can't drink an Oktoberfest beer because." I get very concerned about how to ration out the Oktoberfest beers. The way the bracket works is that, number one, when you get a 6-pack or sometimes a 4-pack, the 4-packs are even worse. The 4-packs are terrible. You get a 4-pack of beer. One of those beers already gets set aside for the cuvée at the very end, the ultimate Oktoberfest beer. It has to get tucked away. Another one has to get tucked away just in case it makes it to the finals. So now I have 2 beers left over, and depending on how many beers there are, there's probably going to be 4 rounds. So we don't have enough beer. If that 4-pack is one of the beers that continues on, we got to get another one. So if it wins the first round and then it wins the second round, now I got to go get another 4-pack. But a 6-pack, if we put one away and we save one for the finals, we already we're pushing our numbers. So you have to be very careful to make sure you don't run out of any beer. And with some of these beers that they're releasing in early August or late July or whatever it is, if you don't pay attention and you're not hitting round 3 until mid to late September, if you run out of that beer and then you go to get more, sometimes it doesn't exist. So if you're not hanging on to it and you don't have it ready to go, it's just not going to be there. So I try really hard not to, not try really hard. I make sure that I never run out of a beer that I need. So we actually don't get to like just sit around the house and drink Oktoberfest beer until after the competition is over, and then there's all this Oktoberfest beer left over. So it's very very complicated, very very strange relationship in this house with Oktoberfest. Now, if we go out, you can drink as much as you want because it's on tap and it's fine. But here in the house, nope, don't touch it. It's all on lockdown. Oh, Lord. All right, let's wrap things up. If anybody else has any questions that I missed, I guess I could roll through and see if I missed anything. I don't think so. Going back to Mellotone, Julia's curious about the 3-tier venue they're planning for the space. I think it's going to be great. Eric says we split the ticket. I picked up a 6 of Ziegler and some pumpkin for my wife. That's fine. I can give pumpkin beer a lot of crap, but it's just fine, especially with how kind of this weather has been lately. It feels like pumpkin season to me. It's fine. Eric mentions his wife is a fan of OMG Becky from New Ales. Can't even say enough about that beer. It's a great beer. I think Brad says that Brink and Fretboard employees bands are playing this Saturday. Blue Ash Fretboard starting at 7. Rock and reggae and Rock and the Rhine on Tap. I can get behind that. But, yeah. This Saturday, I will be at Germania. It's this, my Oktoberfest festival experiences are always fun. My wife just kind of drops me off, especially this one. I have a nephew who is a Boy Scout, so they always volunteer at Germania. So I usually just get dropped off very early and just stay all day long drinking a ton of Oktoberfest beer until his parents are ready to take everybody home, and then I just jump in their car and just go with them. It's just completely obliterated. It's a ton of fun. All right, I think I'm caught up. Julia says, any Cincy Beer Week stuff to shout out? There is not a ton of new events that are on the calendar right now that are like firmly scheduled. Anything that is, you guys can always go to cincybeerweek.com, and all of the latest events are on there. Everything that is firmly set is on there, and you can sign up for the mailing list and get all the latest up there too. Big Sis, we brewed it. We didn't do anything. I didn't do anything. The beer is brewed. It's ready to go, and it'll be tapped that second Saturday of Beer Week. So be there for that. During the week, we've got the finals for Oktoberfest Quest. Be there for that. I believe that Monday, as Julia, you are hosting a women in beer panel at Woodburn. Everybody be there for that. I plan on attending that. It is not my event, so I'm not doing anything. I'm just going to show up and drink. Zach says, what style of beer is Big Sis? Spelled C-I-S, not S-I-S. But Big Sis is a oat lager. It's the same style that it was last year down at Darkness. Really, really great beer. I'm excited to see how it turns out this year. It should be pretty much exactly the same as last year, but maybe a couple tweaks. We'll see. But yeah, it was great last year, and I'm excited for it this year, especially with it being part of Beer Week. But yeah, make sure you guys go to the website. Make sure you sign up for the mailing list. Please sign up for the mailing list. That helps in a lot of different ways as we keep kind of growing this thing, and we kind of build the team around it that is willing to kind of help keep this thing growing. The biggest thing right now, if anybody wants to help with Beer Week, the biggest holdup we have right now is like bars and restaurants. If you know a bar that you frequent that also sells a lot of craft beer or is a big craft beer supporter, bars or bottle shops or whoever, talk to them, because I can't get to all of them. I'm trying, but I can't do it. There's no possible way for me. It's just Beer Week is a one-man team right now. This year it's a one-person deal because I can't afford to pay people, and I'm not gonna. There's a long history there. It's a one-man team this year. If you guys want to help, you got to volunteer and just kind of go off on your own. Go rogue and start talking to people and start spreading it that way. It's got to be a grassroots kind of thing. Tell the people that you like, that you buy your beer from, that you think they need to do an event for Cincy Beer Week, and tell them to reach out to a brewery that they love and talk to their salespeople and be like, you know what? You guys should get together and you should do something, because they should. And hopefully we can start getting some stuff to happen that way. Because, like I said, I can't do it. I can't do it all on my own. If you guys want to help, that's the best way to do it. Yeah, and as Julia says, cincybeerweek.com and sign up for the mailing list. Anyways, Zach says, free beer all day long for volunteers. No, there is nothing free. There is no incentive, nothing that you'll get, nothing fun. Maybe in future years there'll be some swag that we'll do, but I don't even know if that's going to happen this year. It's all it's tough. Though there's going to be some posters around town. Maybe you can steal a poster. I don't know. That's the best I can do for you. I appreciate everybody for hanging out. I appreciate everything that everybody does to help all of these things keep growing, be it Cincy Beer Week or the Gnarly Gnome. I know last week on Cincy Brewcast, I told you that there was going to be a Cincy Brewcast this week. It's not my fault. It'll be hopefully next week. The scheduling sometimes just doesn't work out, and people cancel or reschedule or whatever. But there will be an episode next week, so stay tuned for that. Next Monday, knock on wood, there will be a new episode of Cincy Brewcast. So stay tuned. Zach says, "Oh no! Last time somebody stole a poster, they were on street side." Yeah, no, don't steal posters, but we can get you a poster if you want a poster. Once we have them, yeah. Don't steal things from breweries. It's no bueno. Anyways, we will be back on this show definitely next Monday, and we'll talk about how Oktoberfest went. We'll talk about everything I drank. And then we'll probably talk about some Cincy beer news. Maybe even, actually, how's the calendar hitting? Maybe we'll do some label approvals next week. We'll see. It's all up in the air. It's going to be exciting. We don't know what we'll talk about. I appreciate all of you. We'll see you next time. Thank you, guys. Get out there, support your local breweries, be gnarly, drink local, and tell all your friends about it. Go to thegnarlygnome.com/support if you want to help this thing kind of keep growing monetarily. I appreciate you guys. Better pairing, sausage and Oktoberfest beer or pretzel and Oktoberfest beer? These are the questions I ponder before I fall asleep at night.